Close your eyes and imagine a land bathed in golden sunlight, stretching endlessly along the slow, winding waters of the Nile. The air is warm, scented with lotus flowers, and the distant calls of birds echo across a vast, quiet desert. You are about to step into a world of mystery, where gods and pharaohs walk among men, where stone monuments rise taller than mountains, and where secrets of power and immortality are hidden in plain sight. Tonight, you will drift into the story of ancient Egypt, its rise, its wonders, and its mysteries, carried gently by your imagination. Long before the world knew of kings and empires, the Nile was life itself. Its fertile banks nurtured tiny communities of farmers, fishermen, and craftsmen, all unaware that their villages would one day become the heart of one of the greatest civilizations humanity has ever seen. Imagine the first settlers tending their fields, watching the water rise and fall, and learning to read the subtle signs of the seasons. They knew the river was more than water. It was a lifeline, a God-given gift, the thread that would weave the tapestry of Egypt. In those early days, the people believed that the world was a reflection of the God's will. Sky, land, and river were not separate. They were intertwined in a dance of order and chaos. Ra, the sun god, would travel across the sky each day in his fiery bark, bringing life and warmth. Osiris, the god of the afterlife, taught that death was not an end, but a journey to be guided with wisdom and care. And Isis, with her boundless love and cleverness, watched over families and kings alike. These gods were not distant. They walked through the minds of men, whispered advice, and demanded respect. By 3100 BCE, the scattered villages along the Nile began to unite. Upper and Lower Egypt, once separate realms, were joined under a single ruler, the first pharaoh. Imagine that moment, when a crown touched the head of a man who would now be more than mortal. He was not only a king, he was a god walking on earth. He commanded the people, the lands, and the river itself. His word was law, and his power was believed to stretch beyond the veil of life and death. The pharaohs built monuments that would defy time. Massive stone blocks, quarried from distant lands, were dragged across deserts and riverways, shaped into temples, tombs, and pyramids. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built for Pharaoh Khufu, was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Imagine standing before it, the heat of the sun on your skin, the shadows of colossal stones stretching across the sand, each block perfectly placed, each angle precise. Legends say more than 2 million stones were used, and those centuries would pass. The pyramid would stand eternal, a silent testament to ambition, faith, and the desire for immortality. Yet, even in a world of gods and towering monuments, secrets thrived in shadows. Priests whispered of hidden chambers, corridors that no eye had seen, and spells that could bind the soul or unlock eternal wisdom. Only the most trusted could enter the sacred tombs, where the pharaoh's body rested, surrounded by treasures, food, and even boats for the journey beyond. Imagine the hush in those chambers, the flicker of torches on stone walls, and the scent of incense drifting through the air. This was more than burial. It was preparation for eternity. Every pharaoh left a legacy, but not all legacies were of glory. Some were shrouded in mystery, their reigns marked by ambition, intrigue, or even tragedy. Pharaoh Akhenaten, for example, changed the religious fabric of Egypt, worshipping a single sun god, Aten, and building a city devoted entirely to his vision. The people whispered, some in awe, some in fear. And then came Tutankhamun, the boy king, whose tomb, untouched for centuries, revealed a wealth and artistry beyond imagination. Imagine the moment archaeologists first lifted the golden mask, eyes staring silently across millennia, the weight of history pressing down like a gentle dream. But Egypt was not just monuments and kings. Life thrived along the Nile. Fishermen casting their nets at dawn, farmers plowing the fields, children running barefoot in the sun, merchants trading in bustling markets. Craftsmen carved intricate jewelry, painted vibrant murals, and recorded daily events on papyrus scrolls. Every stroke, every carving, every coin carried the pulse of a civilization deeply connected to its land, its gods, and its future. And then there are the stories, the legends whispered across generations. Stories of gods walking among men, of magical amulets that could protect a soul, of curses that would strike the greedy or the unworthy. Some say the Nile itself held memories of the past, and those who listened carefully could hear the echoes of long-forgotten voices. Perhaps tonight, as you drift further into sleep, you will hear them too, a whisper carried on the wind, a secret waiting to be discovered. Before the night deepens completely, let your mind wander to the desert just beyond the riverbanks. Imagine the pyramids glowing under the moonlight, shadows dancing across their faces, as if telling stories of the kings and queens who built them. And if you could leave a comment tonight, which secret of ancient Egypt would you most want to discover? Perhaps a hidden tomb, a forgotten spell, or a long-lost pharaoh. Now, let the gentle sound of the Nile and the warmth of the Egyptian sun guide you deeper, past the bustling cities of the past, past the mighty monuments, into the quiet mystery that stretches beyond time. As the night deepens, imagine walking through the streets of ancient Thebes. The sounds of the city are hushed, yet alive with subtle movement. The creak of wooden carts, the whisper of traders arranging their goods, the gentle laughter of children chasing each other across the sand. Torches flicker in the narrow alleys, casting long shadows on the mud brick walls. Above, the temples rise majestically, their columns decorated with hieroglyphs telling stories of gods, kings, and heroes. Tonight, you're not just a visitor. You are a witness to the heartbeat of a civilization that has captivated the world for thousands of years. Pharaohs ruled with absolute power, their words shaping the fate of every citizen. Among them was Ramses II, known as Ramses the Great, whose reign stretched for decades. Imagine the grandeur of his processions, elephants and chariots moving through the streets, soldiers in golden armor, and the people bowing in awe. His temples, carved with images of battles and divine favor, still stand today as proof of his ambition and devotion. And yet, behind every victory, there were secrets, treaties whispered in candlelit halls, rivalries hidden beneath the grandeur, and the constant tension between tradition and change. But not all rulers were warriors. Hatshepsut, the female pharaoh, wore the false beard of kings to assert her authority. She commissioned grand temples and statues, sent expeditions to far lands, and left a legacy that confounded those who tried to erase her from history. Picture her standing before a giant obelisk, her eyes scanning the horizon, her mind planning the next voyage of traders bringing exotic goods from Punt. In her time, she was a pioneer, a ruler whose quiet brilliance shaped the Nile and beyond. And then there are the stories whispered in shadowy corridors of temples and tombs, tales of hidden chambers, cursed treasures, and magical relics. Some speak of scrolls containing knowledge lost to time, spells that could protect the soul, or even summon the gods' favor. Imagine a young priest holding such a scroll, reading its ancient words by the light of a single oil lamp, feeling the presence of deities unseen, and understanding that some secrets were meant to be kept, while others could change the course of history. War was not absent from this world. Egypt faced invaders from Nubia, Libya, and beyond, as well as internal rebellions. Imagine the battlefield, chariots racing across desert plains, arrows arcing through the air, soldiers' sandals kicking up clouds of sand. Pharaohs led their armies not just as rulers, but as living gods, their strategy and courage determining the fate of cities. The victories and defeats were carved into stone walls, each image telling a story of valor, cunning, and the relentless passage of time. Yet amidst the battles and politics, life along the Nile continued in gentle rhythms. Farmers plowed fields, guided by the rising and setting of the sun. Women wove linens and prepared meals, while children played in the courtyards, their laughter echoing in the hot air. The river was their constant companion, a source of food, transportation, and spirituality. Its annual flooding was seen as a blessing from the gods, replenishing the earth and reminding all who live there of the delicate balance between human endeavor and divine will. And then there's the magic of the afterlife, the belief that death was not an end but a passage. The mummification process, with its precise rituals and care, ensured the soul's safe journey. Priests chanted spells, amulets were placed with care, and tombs were filled with treasures to accompany the deceased into eternity. Picture a craftsman carving a tiny figure, a shabti, to serve the pharaoh in the next world, the hammer striking rhythmically, the eyes of the statue seemingly alive with purpose. This was a civilization that understood that life and death were intertwined, that every action had meaning beyond the present moment. Legends also tell of pharaohs whose spirits could protect or curse those who dared enter their tombs. Tutankhamun's tomb, discovered thousands of years later, sparked fascination and fear, its golden mask staring silently as if guarding secrets only the gods could understand. Imagine standing there, breathing softly, feeling the weight of centuries pressing gently against your mind, and sensing that history itself is alive in the stillness. Beyond tombs and temples, Egypt inspired explorers, historians, and dreamers for millennia. The Nile, the deserts, the pyramids, they speak to us even today. And now, as you wander through this dreamscape, imagine yourself walking along the edge of the desert at dawn. The pyramids glow softly in the rising sun. A gentle breeze carries the scent of lotus and incense. Perhaps, in your dreams tonight, you will hear the voices of long-forgotten priests, the laughter of children from ancient Thebes, or the whispered wisdom of pharaohs themselves. And if you could leave a comment tonight, which secret of ancient Egypt would you most want to discover? A hidden tomb, a lost spell, or a story that has never been told? Let your imagination wander, for even in sleep, you can travel across time and witness the magic of a world that shaped the course of history. Now, let your mind float further along the Nile, past bustling markets, grand temples, and quiet tombs. Feel the warmth of the Egyptian sun, the soft brush of the desert wind, and the gentle rhythm of the river carrying you into rest. The gods themselves seem to watch over you, not with judgment, but with a calm presence, guiding your journey into dreams. As you sink deeper, imagine the night sky filled with stars, mirrored in the Nile's waters. The pyramids stand silent, majestic, eternal. Their secrets are yours to explore in dreams. Let the soft sounds of ancient Egypt, the trickling of water, the faint music of distant flutes, the whispering of history, carry you into a gentle, peaceful sleep. And now, as your eyes grow heavier and the world of Egypt drifts behind you, imagine that the mysteries of the past are not gone. They live in your dreams, waiting for you to discover them again tomorrow. Sleep well, and let the whispers of the Nile guide you through a night filled with history, wonder, and imagination.